p.m., so I'm going to go ahead and call this regular meeting of the Marion County Board of Education to order. I need a motion on item 1A.
I make a motion to approve the July 9, 2026 board meeting agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item 2 is our Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence. Everybody join me. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Moving on to item 3, communications. 3A is public comment, and Gina Garrett is here with us tonight to offer public comment, so please go ahead. You have typically, you can come up here if you'd like, or you can stay where you are, whatever you're most comfortable with. And then we typically offer about 5 minutes, but if there are questions and things like that, then we can expand if necessary. Okay?
I'm Gina Garrett. I am the Director of Programs at St. Augustine Church, and I run the programs for religious ed on Wednesday nights. We have about 65 kids that come on Wednesday, and then there's our mission church, or our other church is Calvary, Holy Name of Mary. And what we have is we have a problem with sports on Wednesday nights. I'm not knocking sports, so please know that. I have called all the coaches that I can find. I don't have kids of my own, so I don't have kids in sports. But all the coaches have been extremely nice. I've talked to the athletic director in Marion County. I've talked to Chris Brady. If you're in the room, I'm sorry, I don't know faces, I just know names. Hi, Chris. But anyway, everybody was extremely nice, and everybody was really willing to work with me. But there's also these conditions, like some sports, I don't know the names of which ones, but some sports like soccer and volleyball, they're limited to like referees. They're only available on Wednesday nights. We have religion on Wednesday nights. It's not just our church. So I reached out to all the churches in the area, not just the Catholic Church, but the Baptist Church, the Methodist Church, and some of the fellowship churches. And they have services on Wednesday nights, and they can't get people there because those people have to choose between sports or not. And most of the practices are done by the time that we start, but it's the tournaments and the games and things like that, and it gets in the way of our religious activities. And then on Sunday mornings, of course, the Catholic Church is a little bit different. We have Saturday night and Sunday services. So we can, as Catholics, we can move around. Like if there's a game on Sunday or if there's a game on Saturday, we can choose a different service. However, the other churches only have Sunday morning services, which means that people have to choose between a sport or a service. And it's kind of a hardship. It's hardship on parents because parents have to deal with their kids like, Mom, I want to do this, or they've paid tuitions or things for and it's not fair, okay? And so what I'm asking is, there's no policies per se, at least what I know of, that can say that these are the guidelines that you have to stick to. When I talked to Chris and when I talked to the athletic director, everybody's trying to work with us on Wednesday nights. However, because of if it rains, we have to do this, or if there's no coach, or if there's no referee, then we have to do this, or when there's tournaments, we don't have a choice. And I know that other counties are involved in our sports, so we have to interact with the other counties. However, if we start something, I'm sure that there are Baptists and Methodists and Catholics in other counties as well, that if we start it and we can just say Wednesdays are off limits, or maybe Sunday mornings to noon, I don't know how that works, but if we could just look at it, I know schedules are made this year, so I don't want to cause any hardships, but if we could look at it for next year, that we could fix it and just start, maybe move toward a goal that works for us. Any questions?
I'm glad to hear that you received a warm reception from all of our staff members that you spoke with, and that's not at all surprising to me. I think they were entirely accurate with you in that we are part of a larger district and a larger region, and sometimes those things are outside of our control, but we are more than happy to continue to work with community members on scheduling things as we're able to 100%. So I
Right.
thank you for coming to talk to us tonight, and we'll continue to do what we can. To my knowledge, the school district doesn't schedule anything on Sunday mornings, so I don't know where that particular conflict is coming from. I know that we have rather robust youth rec leagues that have a lot of activities too, so that may be where that particular conflict is coming from, but to my knowledge, we do not as a district schedule anything on Sunday mornings, but I'm not, I've got soccer kids, so that's the beginning and the end of my understanding on schedules and things like that, but I am glad to hear that our staff was welcoming and receptive and was pleased to talk to you.
They were very good. We did do petitions this weekend. I don't know if you want them or not. I don't know if it does you any good, but I have them if you want them.
If you'd like to give them, I mean, they're not necessary because we're willing to work with all of our community partners because we understand how strong relationships throughout the community are important to what we're doing, and we want partners and champions across Marion County and beyond. So you're more than happy to leave them with us, but
It's just not necessary. It's okay. Yeah. Okay.
sure.
All right. So I appreciate you listening to us, and anything that you can do to help us in the future, I would certainly appreciate that as well.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Moving on to item 3B, our superintendent report.
All right, so a few things to share with you this evening. Lots going on this summer with facilities and improvements district-wide. So the first you see there is our Glasscock walking track that was recently paved. And probably more celebrated would be our bus garage parking lot. So I keep hearing the words, it's been a long time coming. So the bus garage, you see the parking lot there, it's now paved and striped, and there are a lot of excited bus drivers about that project. So it looks fantastic. So continuing on, work has begun expanding our parking lots near the softball and soccer complexes. So you can see the work taking place there, and the bid is on for this evening as far as paving goes. So the area behind the maintenance building is being prepped to have concrete poured. So if you'll remember, that's what you see there is the back of the old bus garage that used to be an eyesore. If you recall, we re-bricked that building, put a new roof on it, and all new exterior doors, and then that will be very soon the home of our district facility maintenance. They actually came to put the lettering on that building this afternoon, so I don't have a picture of that because they just finished probably about 30 minutes ago. So the ATC currently looks like this. So work continues on the renovation, or more probably appropriately, the demolition of that building. So you can see currently the way the building looks, but we got a lot of work ahead of us to get ready for students here soon. So Marion County High School, switching gears a little bit on academics, Marion County High School students had 134 qualifying scores across 9 different advanced placement exams. And then summer feeding, our school nutrition staff held its 6th summer meal distribution yesterday, and we have distributed 123,239 meals thus far. And then a little bit of celebration from Miss Jennifer Wheeler, our Director of Child Nutrition, who was named recently a 2026 Summer Hunger Hero, so by the No Kid Hungry program. She's one of 10 heroes from across the United States. So she'll be formally recognized by the Feeding Kentucky organization at the July 29th Summer Meal Distribution. So congratulations to Jennifer. And then Mr. Tyler Wethington has been named the head coach of the MCHS boys basketball team. Questions? Thank you all.
All right, moving on to item 3C is our 2026 data security presentation. Cindy?
I'll try to be quick because I know this is riveting stuff here. I was going to open with a joke. I asked Jason to give me one. He said Tim always opens with a joke, but I got crickets from Jason, so no joke here. And I will try to be quick with this. Annually, we need to always present to the board what our security practices are. And if you could move to the next slide, that's the purpose of being here, just basic awareness of our privacy and security. This is a slide that I update every year, just giving you a brief snapshot of some of the challenges that we have, not just here, but businesses in general. You can move to the next one. These are measures that we have in place. These are common causes of security breaches. I think that the big one is passwords. 90% of people use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me step back. 90% of the attacks are phishing attacks, and the most common password among people is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and password. We don't do that here. We have a 15-character password, and we also have multi-factor authentication for staff, and then we'll start for students. They'll also have multi-factor authentication, and what that will entail for them is it'll be a pictogram. It'll be a picture that they'll choose. So we started doing that at the end of the year. We just set it all up, so then when we hit the ground running in just a little bit here when school starts. So that's the big thing. If you don't mind to move on, these are just really things that, this is just some fun facts. This was provided for KDE and from KDE, and I think the interesting things here are that more than 5,000 login attempts were made to access KDE staff accounts for this short period of time. And then also the most common account that they try to log in as is financial staff. And this is a reason for all of these things to stay in line with legislation, FERPA requirements, as well as E-rate requirements. Will you move on to the next slide? I'm trying to be quick here. I think lots on the agenda. These are our cloud providers that we have contracts with, and that, for example, Infinite Campus, we have all data sharing agreements with all of those providers that we have. Move on to the next one. And that says everything, that talks about it a little bit. Anything where there's student information or staff information involved, we have data sharing agreements with those vendors. And this is a slide you've seen quite often. If there's a notification of one of these or one or more of these, we're required to let staff and students be aware of that. This isn't anything new. The main causes of data breach are human error, as well as like other sources to unpatched software. It could be the door to the our main, our MDF isn't secure, but all of those things we keep secure. And phishing is a big one. And I think that I feel very strongly that our staff are very well trained in letting us know automatically if they have anything that's suspect. So we'll tell them to delete the email. Move on to the next one.
Is there, all of us board members have school district email addresses, so, if I see something that looks a little sketchy, my first inclination is to delete it, but should I be notifying you all as well when we receive them?
You can. Usually you can just delete it, but you can, please do if you feel uncertain about it. Sometimes then we'll go in on and look and see if there's any attempts at your account. It's usually what we'll do. And it does, it happens quite often. So if you think that it's something suspect, just delete it or, and let us know about it and we'll look into it.
And speaking of that, we have the multi-factor authentication and some other things, but our number one most important resource that we have is our people. I'll just share an example. Last year, there was an email that looked like it came from me. It wasn't through my account, but it looked like it came from me to AP to please pay this bill. And Jill immediately knew just based on the wording that it wasn't me, but it looked like it was me. And so Scott came to me and prevented something from happening. So again, our people, as in most things that we do, are our number one resource.
They are, and students will let us know too. I mean, and it's happened with Scott's account, there's been several times that he's questioned something that he's gotten, and they need to, and teachers, they'll call us. The people are our biggest resource, and just being educated with that, with, being aware that it could be a scam, because it doesn't look like a scam or a phishing attempt. I would say the big things this year are, DMARC is something statewide that we've instituted, and it's email protocol. It's to protect the email domain, and then there should be something further down there too, at the bottom too, the multi-factor authentication, and that's a big one. We're moving to a different provider as far as authenticating goes. We're moving away from, we still have Microsoft, but it's redirecting so that we can have all of these things in place. That also includes students as well, and that's something that the state pays for. Do we have another slide at all? Is that it? Okay. Any questions? I tried to do the quick version of it.
Well, thank you for the joke.
We can thank Jason for that. So.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you all. All right, moving on to our finance report. Mr. Swain.
So taking a look at the month of June, keep in mind these are unaudited AFR numbers. We're starting the audit process, so these will be adjusted. Like for instance, on utility tax and motor vehicle tax, they're not reported. June is always a month behind, so we're now receiving those from prior months, so these will change some. A couple things I will point out there, on the top, on receipts, we'll see we're up about $678,000 on property tax. A lot of it had to do with the split spirits tax for the $300,000 this year, so we're kind of cautiously watch that going forward as we continue to do that reduction. And the last one we'll talk about here on the next agenda item is the other. We're up $1.8 million, and you are aware of the tax rebate we received from Calvary Elementary School. So overall, we're up about $2 million. That does include the 1.8. So if you back that out, we're up about $200,000 in receipts this year before the audit adjustments. Looking at the expenditures, a couple items down there. Our student transportation is still up $81,000. If you remember last month, that was even bigger. But we had the air conditioned buses last year, and this year we had the parking lot, so they're kind of one and the same as far as dollar amount. So we're still up $81,000. And then the fund transfers, we had some prior year, we had more expense at that $1 million versus the $650 this year due to some change orders the prior year we made cash. So overall, our expenditures are up about $500,000. So that again will change. All right. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 3E, our new Calvary Elementary School Inflation Reduction Act presentation.
So these two guys are here, right there. Want to introduce themselves to you all?
I'm Tim Hawkins-Smith with CMTA. I think you all probably know Ben.
So Ben Hawk, CMTA principal out of Lexington. Been lucky enough to work with you all on your new projects and your renovations. So we do mechanical, electrical, plumbing, engineering. So we're very excited to give this check to you. I think what's important to understand is it takes a lot of courage and foresight to make difficult, costly choices when you're designing buildings. I think Mr. Brady and Scott have made really good choices about providing resilient, reliable systems, even whenever there may be a little bit of a slight cost increase. But with this check, this makes their choices the cheapest choice they could have made, and it's the best system that money can buy. So I'm very proud of you all for having the courage to move forward with those systems. And Scott, thank you for participating in those conversations and having the courage to move forward with these system choices. I know it's difficult.
On the backside on the domestic content. So we were going to get a base about $1.5 million, but there was a rebate system to use domestic content, made USA products, being very helpful on gathering paperwork to support those domestic purchases. So it's good to work with you all on that as well.
We appreciate the relationship with Marion County for a number of years now with RTA here and a number of other districts. And again, I reiterate, I used to have a job similar to Scott a few counties over, and when I was there, we didn't have opportunities like this. But I know how important it is to make good decisions, long-term, 20, 30-year decisions. That's what you're doing here. the district will benefit for many years to come as a result.
We recognize you're not in the business of owning, amazing, awesome, fun mechanical systems, right? That's the way I feel about it. But I think that what you all are doing is changing educational outcomes. You're choosing systems that I think synergize perfectly with what your mission is and providing an enhanced environment, the best environment you can. So I'm proud of you all.
Happy to receive it.
There you go, have a picture, please.
Mr. Brady, you can take it right on the side.
Scott, you come up here too?
Over in front of the dice, I guess we'll be here.
Yeah.
Actually,
On three. 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you. Thank you.
More to come. Try, yes, thank you, buddy. So what he said is more to come, so we'll be working on this for the ATC project as well as the development.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you all.
Okay. Moving on to item 4, student learning services. Need a motion on item 4A, please.
make a motion to consider approval of the 2026 policy update number 49 and procedure update number 30.
Second.
Any questions here? I know Mr. Brady has notes on every single change that he's just dying to share.
Would you like to share?
Well, so I have pages of notes, but, so what this is ultimately, and if you all have specific questions about any of them, I'll be happy to go over them, but, it's the General Assembly, the changes that they made during the legislative session. Our policies now reflect those changes in the laws, so each policy that's on the update is just a reflection of changes in the laws.
They were in red.
They were, yeah, all the changes were noted, yeah.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion on 4B.
I'll move to consider approval of fiscal year 27 MCPS employee handbook.
Second.
Any questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item 5, need a motion on 5A, please.
Make a motion to consider approval of Cumberland Family Medical Center's school-based satellite clinic agreement for 2026-27.
Second.
Want to highlight the good news?
Absolutely. So we talked about this before. It's been on the agenda time 2 and tabled, and Ms. Akers has worked with Cumberland Family Medical, and we started off with the cost share over the years ago, and we're down to 10%, which has cost us about $70,000 last school year for the school nurses and nurse practitioner. And our billing came through this year, we'll be paying $0 for the 2026-27 school year. So, same services at no cost.
Always love that, and I mean, it's an incredible service as a parent with 3 kids, like it's just a great service for them to be able to say, got a little bit of a fever, do you want to go ahead and check for strep and all the things while they're still there before they get sent home. I mean, it's a lifesaver for parents, and I hope that our medical staff in all of our buildings know how much they are appreciated, and I know that, Nurse Christie gets a hug from my bunch all the time, which means they probably went to her more often than they used to. But they're just invaluable in each of our buildings, so we're so thankful for that and super excited about the cost change. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, comments there? All in favor? Aye. Need a motion on item 5B.
Go ahead. Can move to consider approval to accept bids for playground rock removal. Yeah, you see the bids are attached, you don't want to go through them,
No.
just consider the bids.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item 5C, I'll make a motion to consider approval to award the bid for playground rock removal to Daniel Mattingly for $1,500 at West Marion, and to Garbage Genies for $3,250 at Glasscock Elementary School.
Second.
Any questions, comments there? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion on item 5D.
Make a motion to consider approval to accept bids for asphalt paving at Marion County High School soccer and softball parking lots, attachment number 3.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Moving on to 5E, I need a motion, please.
Make a motion to consider to award the bid for asphalt paving at Marion County High School soccer and softball parking lot to Hayden Materials for $161,799.75.
Second.
Any questions, comments here? All in favor? Aye. Moving on to 5F, need a motion, please.
I'll move to consider approval for testing and balancing for the ATC renovation addition project BG number 25-341.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Need a motion on 5G.
Make a motion to consider approval of systematic design for the new Lebanon Elementary School BG 24-285.
Second.
Anything you'd like to share since you came on the plate?
We could, I know you all have seen the updated floor plan and site plan that Katie requires for the schematic design approval, or submittal rather, and primarily if you all have any questions regarding those, as you notice, it's very similar to Calvary Elementary Schools. Layout works very well. Part of the reason that we ended up kind of going back in that direction was some of the site constraints. So we had a few different options that we looked at initially, and we kind of ended up moving back into a situation where, based on where the kitchen, cafeteria, and gym needed to be placed, as well as the classroom wings and the front entrance, it was starting to kind of programmatically look very similar to the layout of Calvary. And so we are taking that as an initial foundation, and we're improving upon that. So we've been kind of calling it Super Calvary in our office. So we've had some adjustments inside the building to kind of make things a little bit more both efficient and kind of user-friendly from a day-to-day basis, now that we've learned of things now that Calvary has been open for over a year at this point. So, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer anything.
I'd like to stress for the public, so we no longer will have a gym and cafeteria on that Lebanon Elementary School, right?
That is correct. It'll be the same type of setup at Calvary, where we'll have a stage that is shared between the cafeteria and the gym. But yes, two separate dedicated spaces.
So one exciting thing from a mechanical standpoint is the buildings will have a pitch roof, so it will have a mezzanine that goes above the classroom spaces. And we'll be able to access our HVACs and other mechanical controls via the mezzanine rather than having to go in the classroom.
Yep.
Taking out ceiling tiles and doing those kinds of things. So it's going to be huge upgrade.
And we'll still have the safety factors.
We will have the storm shelter just like what we had
We
in
will.
Calvary.
It'll have a storm shelter in the same location at Calvary on the early elementary portion of this, I call it smoldering wing, but that kind of wing of the building will be this storm shelter for tornadoes. It's an ICC 500 shelter that we're required to do. So it's got plenty of capacity. It meets the requirement for that. So the only difference here would be that we're looking at doing a pitched roof over that portion of the building rather than a low slope roof like we have at Calvary. And then additionally, we have some updated and have quite a bit more kind of progressive safety measures that we'll be doing on this now that we're, obviously several years removed from the design of Calvary. Things have obviously changed, and we're keeping tabs on those updates, and so that'll be reflected in the floor plans as well.
Every step forward is an exciting one, and having gone to school at Lebanon Elementary School years and years and years ago, I have very fond memories of that building, and I'll be excited. It'll be bittersweet to see that building go away, just from a personal
Sure.
family connection, but I'm excited for what it means for our community, and every step forward is just another reason to celebrate and be excited, not only for our community as a whole, but that school family in particular. So thank you for all the work that you're doing and the lessons that you're taking from Calvary into this building. It's outstanding.
Absolutely, and just to kind of reiterate what we talked about before, it's like if we were going to have a floor plan that was in some ways similar to Calvary, the outside of the building needed to look very different, and so we are certainly heading in that direction. We've been sharing some updated exterior images as we go along, so excited to share some more of those here in the future with you all.
I want to be integrated, our history into this building, and I think, it's just gonna cost implement our Lebanon Elementary. So when we take the history of Lebanon Elementary and shove it down, which is, I guess, I'm like, Terry, it's, you know, I went to school there, you know, my family went to school there, and it was always, when I saw it, it was a beautiful building, and it's done a great job, but it's time for us to move on, but we're still keeping the history of Lebanon there, so I really like that.
Other questions or comments?
I'm looking forward to seeing it there.
And the trees.
We did pull that up in case someone wants to take another quick look at it. So
If there's
feel free,
anything,
right?
I'm happy to walk
Of course,
through.
we had gym and cafeteria
Yeah.
with the stage in between there. So although the floor plan is similar to Calvary, the exterior of the building will look nothing like Calvary.
It looks very, very
Uh,
different. So obviously, one of the big differences here, we have an additional preschool classroom. So we're combining the two preschool classrooms. Can I slide this up?
Can you slide that for me?
Okay. I don't want to touch anything. I'm just. So the two preschool classrooms will actually be paired together. They'll have shared support spaces with the restroom and the storage component. They'll have a dedicated egress out to the preschool playground. So this will actually be a separated space. We'll have a wall there. So that also cleans up our sight lines on the exterior of the building from a safety perspective. So we kind of looked at two different things in terms of school safety, and I think that's always something kind of worth sharing. But obviously, with the location of the building, it's kind of community use, has a much more heavy community use than we saw at Calvary, for instance. And so that also lend us to the overall shape of the building, because this has really good kind of passive visual control over it. As you're driving by, both on College and West Main, you can see around the building very easily. That's something that you all don't have right now with the existing format. So that cleans up the visibility of the site. But they have a dedicated preschool playground area that's contained here. We've added an additional door out here, directly out, so we'll actually, the playground, the main playground for the school will be to the plain south. And so there's a dedicated door that we can have access key cards to get in and out from that one location, and that allows these two doors on the ends to be just for emergency egress purposes. This, again, will be the storm shelter. I'm blocking everybody, I'm sorry. Like half of y'all, I'm terrible at this. We'll have this as the storm shelter portion of the building. Again, where we have this hatched pattern, both on the corridor as well as above the stage area between the gym and the cafeteria. That'll be the mechanical mezzanine that we'll have access to above for all the water source heat pumps and everything. So this section of the building through here will have a pitched roof to allow for that mechanical mezzanine to occur. Some of the other adjustments, we've updated how the extended learning spaces, so the collab spaces work. They're going to be a little bit more versatile in this layout, with having some small roof spaces as well as kind of smaller breakouts for smaller group instruction, intervention teams and things like that can work at a smaller scale. Moving all of the kind of primary resource rooms down near the central kind of component, so it's easy access for all the students on a day-to-day basis. And then still have a similar layout in terms of the media center, the art classroom, and the STEM that kind of makes a maker core of the building that kind of forms the heart of the building. It's what you see kind of when you walk into the main lobby. How we handle that, as well as the history wall components and all those things, will be different from Calvary. So it'll look very different on the inside of the building as well as out. Otherwise, minor updates in terms of the administrative suite, but the big change here is that we've moved the music classroom up next to the stage. It allows the music classroom to function as a green room for performances, and there's a dedicated ramp access to get to the stage. So if you have a music performance at Christmas and the students are kind of, they have a space to go to where they can kind of gather themselves and be brought onto the stage without having to be in the main space that everybody else is watching from. And we're making some adjustments right now in the restroom location. We'll be moving that back over to the main lobby. So there are some things that we're still massaging on the plan as we go into design development, but that gives you a really good sense of kind of where things are at this point. And just like Calvary, we'll have a lot of the additional safety features here. we've adjusted where we have our secondary lockdown points. So we have a set of doors here that will allow the kind of community spaces to be separate and locked down separately from the rest of the building. We also have what I call tertiary or third kind of sets of doors to go into the classroom wings that will also be controlled and locked down. So between the secure entry vestibule, now we have 2 extra layers inside the building that can be controlled. We're also looking at doing a small conference room and a restroom off the secure entry vestibule. So the majority of the folks that come into the building on a day-to-day basis can stay in that vestibule area and don't need to be let into the school, whether it's in the administrative suite or into the lobby. So it kind of really whittles down the amount of people that have to come into the building on a day-to-day basis and allows a lot more control over staff in terms of who's coming in and going. So I think all of those are really, really great improvements, and looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 5H, need a motion, please.
Make a motion to consider approval of proposal for geotechnical services for the new Lebanon Elementary School BG 24-285.
Second.
Any questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
And can we go back on 5G and cast an official vote? I think we took the motion, but I didn't ask for a vote, did I?
Just to take action.
Yeah, can we, all in favor on 5G?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now, moving on to 5I, acknowledgement of field trips. So acknowledged, and I need a motion on item 6, please.
Make a motion to approve items 6A through B60.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you to the American Legion for their contributions to the Marion County Middle School girls basketball program for $1,000. We so appreciate our community partners. And I think that's all I see. All in favor? Aye. Moving on to item 7, acknowledgement of personnel actions, and I need a motion on item 8, please.
Madam Chair, I love the good news we've shared in this meeting, and with that notion, I'll move we adjourn.
Second.